Hey guys, it's Skybird here, and today we're going to be taking a look at 4 Rahi. Now these are not new Rahi, rather you would have seen them on my Discord, so I'm going to shamelessly plug that. If you want to check out my Discord, you can of course check out the link in the description below. However, the reason I'm showing off 4 Rahi in this video is because they all have something in common. Let's see if you can figure out what that is. So we're going to start with the one that I designed first, which is this guy right here. What the heck is that? Well, this is actually the Kakimara. This is a small bird Rahi that I designed. And if you recognize these pieces, that is because this is made with just one Nui Jaga. Of course, since the Nui Jaga don't contain any exclusive pieces between the two of them, you can actually build this in either color you want. And in fact, this does not use either of the masks from any of the sets, so you can actually make it in even more colors that these pieces might be available in. So it has these little feet here at the base that can of course fold up. As you saw from the beginning, the wings can fold up or fold down to give you sort of a perch or like a dive bomb, pose. And it does have a function built in, as do all of these, where you can push this trigger back here and the mouth will open, very similar to the Kehu bird, which is the official combination model of 2 of the Nui Jaga. So I'm going to show you both of them real quick because I did build both, and I gave them a slight variation in the way that their head feather is shaped and oriented, so you get a little bit of extra sort of personality between them, because you can kind of choose which orientation that you like, or just play around with those parts, right? Add your own pieces if you want to. And one of the other interesting things about the Nui Jaga is that they don't contain any regular friction pins, but rather have the 3 long friction pins. So I decided to leave those open on the wings, because when you have them open, you can actually connect a McDonald's style Matoran's feet to those pins, and the function will still work. So you can actually have a Matoran rider maybe riding this into battle, very similarly to how the Kehu are rode, into battle or rode over Matanui to kind of, see what's below, see the surveillance, right? Anyway, I'm going to move on to the next one here, which is the Kirikori, and you can recognize this being the Nui Rama. Again, in this case, it's not using any of the exclusive pieces from either of those sets, so you can build it in both orange or lime green, or you can open it up to more of your own colors, reds and blues and whatever else. Basically, your only limiting piece here being this piece. And of course, you can always mix and match colors as well. You don't have to be exact on your color blocking. The way that this one works, it does have one feature, which is that you push a little lever back here and it can kick. So if you got it unruly Matoran back there, you can just kind of punt them and send them on their way, right? Outside of that, it has the 4 little feet at the base here. Of course, the trans dark blue Rurus used as eyes, very similarly to the Nui Rama, and then these large wing pieces, but in this case used as the antenna here, so those flexible axles. So really happy with the design of that one as well. And the Nui Jaga the Nui Rama are a little more difficult to mock with, because they have that specialized torso piece in there, which was from the I think the Robo Riders used that originally, so it's definitely an interesting piece to work with and has some limitations, but it's fun when you get something right out of it. Moving on to the next one, probably the most complex function as well, we have the Kuma. This is an alternate build for just Muwaka from the Muwaka and Kanera set, and this one has a very fun function, probably the most complex out of any of these that I'm really excited about. I'm going to go ahead and use the function first and then kind of describe how it's working. So as I pull this lever down, I'm actually pulling this axle here, and as that axle gets pulled, it pulls the mouth down with it. You keep pulling and the mouth will snap shut. That's what I call a snapping bite. And so the way that it works is actually a little bit more complicated than it might seem. Snapping bites are one of the more difficult function types, I think, from just Lego in general for Rahi, because you need a few different interactions for them to work. As I pull this lift arm down, you can see that it starts pulling that axle as well, which is what is connected directly to this mouth here. You can see it kind of moving. So as I pull down on that, it pulls the mouth down. However, the base of the lift arm that I'm actually pulling, the trigger essentially, will actually collide with the lift arm that axle is connected to, and it'll push up on that lift arm and thus on that axle as well. When the axle goes over the top of this little gray pin here, then it'll disengage and the rubber bands on the mouth will pull the mouth shut. Then when I let go of the trigger, the rubber bands will actually push up on that lift arm, on that axle, and push it over the catch, re-engaging the bite. So you get a resetting, snapping bite that you can use indefinitely. It's a really fun, satisfying function that is quite a bit more difficult to get to work than you might think. The nice thing about this build here is it doesn't use any of the specialized pieces from the Kanera or mocs, not that weird kind of torso piece in the arms or anything like that. Really the most like specialized pieces would be the hooks, which come in several colors, these little ear pieces, which again come in several colors, and then of course these tubes. Basically, if you change that, the hooks, the ears, and these little lift arms here, you can make it in whatever colors you want. If you want to build this from the red Rahi, the Kanera in this case, it does not have these ear pieces, so instead I use the small little hoses as sort of like little horns or tufts of whatever coming out of the back end there. But the build is otherwise basically the same. Really happy with the design here. I call it the Kuma just mainly based on the stature. It is able to sit on those black panel pieces as sort of feet, and then the claws will touch the ground in the front there. The tail can of course be used to balance it out. You can make it as long as you want, yeah, it just kind of sits on a surface and is a good little guy. So I like him. I don't know which is my favorite between him and the bird. I designed the bird first. It's a little more endearing to me because of that, and its functionality with the Matoran I like a lot. However, that function is just so fun to use. I don't know. It's up to you guys, really. That said, moving on to the last one for this video, that is this one here, the Nori crab. And this one is an interesting one because it's built just with one mantis, in this case the black mantis here, and the function in this case is connected to these gears. So when I actually swing these gears, you can see that the pinchers will move and actually pinch as well. So it's not just a punching function, but it's also a pinching function. The way that works is actually fairly straightforward, where this outer pincher is connected to two lift arms. So as that moves, it has a defined arc that it has to travel. However, this inner pincher is only connected to one lift arm. So rather than having a defined arc, it is actually locked in by, I'm holding it upside down, so let's kind of orient things, but this gray pin right here, and as I push forward, it has to slide along that pin, which eventually brings those two sets of lift arms or sets of pinchers together, and that's what gives you that clip. It works on both sides. You get a pinch out of both sides. There are rubber bands on here, but they're old, so they're kind of taking a bit of a beating, but it does work out nonetheless, and I'm really happy with the design of this. It is also designed to roll sideways like a more typical crab, or I guess a stereotypical crab, and then it has the eyes just up front here. In this case, I'm using trans dark green, which probably isn't accurate. I don't remember them. And then also using just the white claw here, sort of like a tooth. It also works to hold the shell, the upper shell here, angle. It's not necessary to have it angled, I just think it looks nice to kind of continue that rounded shaping of it. And in this case, most of the color blocking for the black is kept up at the top, where the gray is kept mostly at the bottom. So it just looks really nice and aesthetically pleasing overall, as I think all of these do. So that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure to like and subscribe, because it does help the channel out a lot. The reason you didn't see the Terracotta in this video is because I'm missing like a specific piece from the teal one that I want to use, and so I just haven't built anything with it until I get that piece in, but I haven't been in a hurry for it either. That said, 4 Rahi from 2001 Rahi is I think a pretty good deal either way. So if you have them on a shelf and you have both Nui Jaga built and you think maybe, you know, I only need one built or something, you can remix them. Or if you have extras, you maybe have 2 sets of Nui Jaga, then it gives you something to kind of do with the others, right? Maybe take on this challenge for yourself as well and see what you can come up with. I think that limited parts pool type challenges can be a lot of fun, and sometimes you learn the most from those types of functions as well. As mentioned before, if you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know what you want to see next in the comments below, what type of Rahi you might like to see, and I will see you all in the next one. Check out my links in the description, and take care.